Let's begin with a word of prayer so we can prepare our hearts. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for bringing us here. As the summer starts and continues, we ask that you guide us in the things that we're doing. Help us to make our summer more productive. The things we do with our families, with our friends. And for those of us who are in school still, summer school, continue to motivate us so that we do well in our studies. And thank you for all the opportunities of experiencing the world as we live for you. We pray all this in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Okay, but today's Bible verse is very simple. Only one verse. But with this one verse, God's going to tell us a lot. God's going to tell us a lot about our lives, what we need to be as a Christian. If you look at the title today, I put down as, Are You a Follower? One way or another, we are all followers of somebody or something. Every one of us. And a lot of us probably follow what we see on social media. We follow celebrities. This includes movie stars. This includes artists who, the music that you listen to. Okay. And these could be a lot of individuals that you know, that you see on TV, in your phones, things that come through text that you view. So these are the examples that we follow. So it becomes very important who you are following, especially if we call ourselves Christians. As Christians, you should follow one person as your priority. And I don't even need to say who, you know. If you're Christians, Christ, meaning you're a follower of Christ. But it's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult to be a Christian, especially in our society today. Because a lot of the teachings, a lot of the things that the society offers may be very different from what this Bible here teaches. But if we want to be true followers of Christ, then we need to make a commitment. And that's what I want to talk to you today about. You need to make that commitment to follow Christ. You say, that's hard. That's very hard. But let's just read our verse today, okay? Let's turn to it. I know I have it up here later on the next slide, but let's turn to it. I like to read the Bible instead. Page what?
1150.
Okay, 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1. One verse for us all, okay? 1 Corinthians, this is a letter written by Paul to the church of Corinth. Paul been to Corinth, preached there. He left to go preach somewhere else. Then he hears issues of these churches, so he would write letters back to these churches. And that's why when you read the Bible, these are considered letters from Paul. Ephesians, Galatians, all these are letters from Paul to these churches to teach them, to remind them, and to encourage them. So let's see what Paul says with this one verse in chapter 11, the letter to the Corinthian church. Okay? You guys ready? Let's read it. You know where it is, right? It's above that heading. It's hiding up there. Verse 1 is hiding up in right at the end of the chapter 10 and right before verse 2, obviously, of chapter 11. You guys ready? Let's read it together. 1, 2, 3, go. Follow my example as I follow the example of Christ. Paul says, follow my example. Whose example? Paul's example. As Paul follows example. So when we follow Paul's example, we are actually following Christ's example. What I want you to see here is Paul is confident enough to tell you that we should follow him. But he's only confident that we follow him because he knows he follows Christ. If Paul doesn't follow Christ, then we shouldn't be following Paul. But Paul follows Christ. In order to follow somebody, you really need to know that somebody. Oh, wrong color. Should have used white. Okay, let's go on. You can see it. Who do you see here? Paul. No, not yet. Paul was not here because Paul was not in the group of what? The 12 disciples. Paul wasn't, just in case you didn't know that. Paul came later. Paul met God, met Jesus on his road to Damascus. Okay, that's when he met God. And God, Jesus came as a bright light. He turned blind. Remember that? That's when Paul met Jesus. But no, I want to talk about this real quick. The disciples, they were with Jesus. They were like family. They eat together. They sleep together. They take turns using the restroom. I'm just getting personal here, right? But that's how close they were with Jesus. The 12 disciples, they are part of Jesus' life, and therefore they know what Jesus is like. But then you're probably thinking, okay, what about me? I'm not going to see Jesus now. Jesus is not going to pop up in front of us and live with us in my family. That is true. But thank God for now Paul. Paul didn't really live with Jesus as the disciples did. But Paul met God through the experience he went through. Just like the way we meet God. Your experience with God, it's not literally seeing Jesus or walking with Jesus next to you. But you've experienced God, that's why you're here. That's why you give yourself to God. That's why you were baptized. Why would you be baptized if you didn't want to have a relationship with God through Jesus Christ? So most of us here are Christians. You're followers of Christ. Even if you're not baptized yet, if you believe in Jesus, you are a follower of Christ. Paul shows us throughout history in the Bible how he follows Christ. In Christ's example, he doesn't waver. He doesn't water down God's teaching. He doesn't turn away because it was tough. He stays with the Lord. He stays with God. But we must also know that Paul is just like you and I. He has his weaknesses. It's not like God blessed Paul so much that he's so strong and God didn't bless me that way. God blessed all of us the same. God blessed Paul, God blesses you. If Paul can use God's strength to overcome the challenges of this world, so can you. And so must you. We must. So 3 things I want to talk to you today. It's not going to be too long. And then I want to spend some time for you guys to kind of discuss with among your groups. 2 questions I'll give you, and then you will share with your group. So 3 things I want to talk about. In order for us to be a follower of Christ, in order for you to be successful, to be a follower of Christ, again, which we call we are, then 3 things you got to follow. Number 1, you have to really bad color. Okay, you can see it. This room's not that good. Deny yourself is the first one. you guys gonna fall asleep with the lights on?
No.
Okay, take it back.
Okay, I'll let you read this verse and we'll go back, okay? Dark is no good because then you guys will be doing things like looking at your phones, which is kind of obvious now. I can see you guys from the front so clearly. Okay, so let's put our phones away, please. Okay. Number 2, pick up your cross. And number 3, follow Jesus. Deny yourself, pick up your cross, and follow Jesus. Deny yourself. Which is the most important thing right now I'm going to talk about. Let's turn on the lights. Because I need you to deny yourself. I really need you to deny yourself because you are all about yourself now. Even now sitting there. You're not about God. If you hear you're not about God, I'm not sure why you want to be here. I know some of you are here because your parents tell you to. But let me tell you, your parents know better. They'd rather you come here than stay home and play with video games or whatever you're doing. Get on social media maybe. But let me tell you, you're on your social media all the other times. Giving that 1 hour to God is what your parents want you to do. And let me tell you, they're wise. You have all the other times in the world to do everything else. But if you could give God that 1 hour to talk to you, then you're learning to deny yourself. Now deny yourself. I'll just read it. Don't worry about the color. I should use white next time. Reject your control. Yield your control, authority, and power to who? To Christ. Give it to Christ. You know, I'm guilty. I'm guilty like you guys. I don't know, I just don't want to put everything Apple, you know, it's just, you gotta be fair, you gotta put other stuff on there, right? You know, what is keeping you from God? It could be these things. If your parents, if I take something away from you like these things, are you going to fight me for it? Are you going to fight your parents for it? That's the question I want to ask you, and you ask yourself. Is there anything in this world that if I were to take it away, if your parents to take it away, if somebody was to take it away, how are you going to feel? And if that thing that's taken away that's so important to you, other than Christ, other than God, then let me tell you, you may have an addiction. You know what's an addiction? Something you can't go without, and you go crazy with it. People who are addicted to drugs are like that. Eventually, without that drug, they cannot live. They will go and steal to buy more. I know drug sounds crazy, but let me tell you, your phone could be your drug. All these things could be your drug. And that's what God is telling us. Unless you deny yourself of these things, I'm not saying don't use these things. I use them. We need to use it so we can live our lives. I agree, I understand. But if it's taking you away from God, if it's taking away from your family, it's taking away from the relationship you're supposed to have with each other, then let me tell you, you are addicted. Addiction is very, very scary. You know, as I was driving to work, I go by about 4 churches. And 3 of the churches have these banners, same banners. They're having courses in their church. It's called Celebrating Recovery. Recovery from what? From addiction of all sorts. Many churches see the problem as Paul has solved for us already in the Bible. So my challenge to you is this. Yield to God. Deny yourself. You got to deny yourself. If not, let me tell you, it's going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt me or the person around you. Eventually, the person that gets hurt is you. Yield the throne of your life to Christ. Because if not, you're robbing him. Your self-centeredness, you're taking away the throne that belongs to God, and you're putting it on yourself. Okay, so that's the first thing I want you to know. Deny yourself. Paul did. Paul was a righteous, religious Pharisee who was working for God. He felt he was working for God, but he wasn't. He was working against God. And God had to humble him so that he denies himself. He gives up everything. He went to Harvard all his days, if you think Harvard's good. I mean, Harvard's not that good anymore. I heard all the stories about Harvard. But let's just use, I don't want to school to you, they're all the same, right? I mean, I want to say UCLA. Yeah, I know, it's about the same. But the point is, you could have everything in this world, the best education, you could have the best job, you could have all the money you want in the world. But if you're not following God, you're doing your own stuff, your selfishness, your self-centeredness takes over, and then let me tell you, your life will be, you can't see it now, but you will if you do it that way. But I'm telling you, just trust me, trust Paul. Deny yourself. God will lead you towards a happier life, a joyful life. Okay, number one. Number two, take up the cross. You know, it's very difficult to make sacrifices. Who wants to sacrifice for anybody, right? For God? That's the last thing on my mind. I won't even sacrifice for my family, for my brothers and sisters. Now, Aiden's probably thinking, sacrifice for Vera? Oh, no, man. Vera, she's on her own. Sacrificing for somebody is not that easy, but God wants us to make a sacrifice. So what does sacrifice mean? What does take up the cross mean? It means to be a disciple, to die to your will, and to live to please God. The cross is a symbol of death. You know, when you go through baptism, we talked about this before you went to get baptized. When you go into the water, that's like a burial. Your old self is buried. It's gone. When you come up, that's new birth. That's a new you. A new you need to take up the cross. Your old nature, your old habits are supposed to be gone. But I know it's not. I know it's hard. And we're working hard to get rid of that. But unless you pick up the cross, unless you come to let God help you, you can't do it alone. There's no way to do this on your own. I couldn't do it, and I've been a Christian for all this time. Ever since I was age 19, I give myself to God. And for all these years, I won't give you the years, and then you'll know my age. Only 10. Not more than that. All these years, I still battle with the flesh. Just like you guys. You're still battling your stuff. And your stuff and my stuff is different, completely different. And as you reach my age, you're battling, the flesh will be different from what you have now. But you need to pick up the cross. Let's read this, Galatians chapter 2:20. I'll read it. You probably can't see it. I can't see it. I'll go this way. I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live is in the body. I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Galatians 2:20. Christ is now in you. Life is so important because it's short. We will die one day. All of us will die one day. But you will experience the death of your loved one first. But we will all grow old. I can still remember when I was so young in high school, like you guys in college, having so much fun. It was cool, it was great. But that time has gone. But my responsibility is not for my family, even though Amy and I don't have kids, but we have niece and nephew to love and take care of. And I have you guys to enjoy the rest of my life here on earth, right? But let me tell you, life is short, life goes fast. Just tell anybody who has lost a loved one how precious life is. So don't let sin, don't let these things that take you away from God destroy that part of your life. You probably can't see this. It's terrible. Oh, we got signal. It is the Titanic. How big is the boat? According to my research, 900-foot cruise ship. Sank in what year?
1980.
80?
No, it's after World War II.
It's actually before.
World War II.
Okay.
1605.
Close, very close. I would bring you a candy, but I don't have candy here, so it's 1930. Wow. Okay, long time ago. Before I was born. Before your oh no, I think your grandparents. No. Before your grandparents were born, I think. Yeah, because you guys are much younger than me. So this is a long time ago. So from history, from what you know, what happened to the ship and how did it sink?
Iceberg.
An iceberg, right? Watch out, iceberg! So, everybody probably remembers it as a big gash in the front, the side, wherever, on the ship that caused the water to go in and what? And sink. I mean, if you watch the movie, those are all dramatic, right? That sells tickets. What's that guy's name? Jack?
Yeah.
Jack, everyone go! Oh, I won't remember. Some people told me they watched the movies 3-4 times. It's crazy. I did see it once.
It's a good movie.
Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Love story, yeah. Okay, that's besides the point. But scientists have went down using sonar, using ultrasounds to check the hull, to check the ship. And you know what they found? They found not a big gash opening. They found slits of metal that broke open in different parts of the ship on the sides. You know how ships are built? Ships are built that if water goes in, you close off all the doors on the bottom, watertight. Certain parts of the ship, water goes in, it'll be fine. I mean, this is a big gash, of course, but they didn't find that. They find so many little slits of broken metal, sheets of metal on the outside, the hull of the ship. And so all the compartment that's supposed to save you, water got in. And that's why the ship goes down slowly as the water goes in. No use shutting the door because the next one's also bad. The next compartment's also bad. So that's what they found. That the ship went down for this reason. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because sin, or the things we do that we don't think is that important, maybe it's so small. Most of us will not fall because of one big accident, one big thing. It's that little thing that adds up in our lives that will sink you like a Titanic. It if you're doing something that you know is not right in front of God, and only God knows. If I'm sinning, I'm not going to show you, right? Why would I show you? But God sees everything. And God's worried about it. God is concerned about you. God is concerned about me. Those little things in our life that's not pleasing to God will add up. It adds up. And you're going to go towards a direction of no return. You may sink like the Titanic. But I'll tell you this, it's not that you're going to lose your salvation. I always tell people this, you're not going to lose your salvation. You just may die earlier. You know, in the Bible, there's a story of Ananias and Sapphira, husband and wife. When they saw people in church giving, Barnabas giving a lot of his money to church, they want to do the same, not because they love giving, because they want to look like they're giving. They're Christians at the time, right? They believe in Jesus. So what did they do? Remember, they sold the land, and then they gave it to the church because they want to follow Barnabas and some of the other people. But the problem was this. They wanted to look good. They gave it to church, and they said, I'm giving 100% to church. And what happened? They held back, right? They lied. In that moment, they died. That sounds kind of tough, right? That's kind of cruel. I mean, God's not going to do that to us. Okay? God's not going to do that to us. But God is telling us sins that we commit in our life accumulates, it will destroy you. I still believe, and I've talked to different pastors, Ananias and Sapphira, I'm pretty sure I'll see them in heaven. They just happen to go there earlier. They're still Christians, they just happen to sin, and their life got cut short. But we don't like that. We live in a world that God wants us to live in. God created this world. So let's make the best of it. So let's not compromise on these things, okay? All right? So deny yourself. So again, put your phones away and deny yourself. Deny yourself. Paul denied himself. You could do it too. Guess who also denied himself? We saw it on Friday, the movie. Oh, Paul, sorry, that's Paul. This guy. Who's this guy? I'll give you a hint. Jewish? Egyptian.
Oh,
Jewish?
Joseph.
Egyptian. Yes, thank you. Joseph. Joseph also denied himself of the pleasure of this world. What are we talking about? If you don't remember Joseph. Joseph was sold to Egypt by his brothers.
Well, they tried to kill him first.
Yeah. But he was sold to Egypt eventually because they didn't want to kill him. But when he went to Egypt, God blessed him by giving him a good job with a guy named Potiphar, who works very closely with the Pharaoh. But Potiphar has a wife right there. According to historical documents, Joseph was very handsome. You know, a lot of Bible great people are very handsome, but I don't know what handsome is, but they say he was handsome, he was good looking, and so this older lady who is the boss's wife had this hots for him, right? So that's what the story was about in the Bible. I heard this pastor say, this is the original cougar, right?
Yes.
If you know what cougar means, I'm not going to explain. Older people like, I'm sorry, there's people who laugh because we know what that means. I'm sorry. Okay, the original cougar. The first cougar ever in the Bible, in history. Okay? She wanted to have a relationship with him. No one was there. The temptation is there. But Joseph had integrity. God cares about our integrity. Joseph overcame it. So can you. Paul overcame all these challenges in his world when he was alive. So can you now in this world. This is to protect you. So going back to the first point, you need to deny yourself of the things that's controlling your life. Again, whether it be your phone that you're looking at now maybe. You notice how difficult it is? Something is addicting that you cannot even not look at it for 5 minutes, or should I say 1 minute. And I'm saying this to all of us. Amy and I have hardly, I have the same problem. Eating dinner. He was like, come on, eat dinner. What are you doing looking at the phone? So I'm not no better than you. I'm no better than you, Jonah. I'm no better than you, Aaron. But I'm trying my best to work on it. And that's my challenge to you is deny yourself of the things that's controlling your life. And then pick up the cross. Pick up the cross. Paul did, Joseph did, and so did this guy who painted this painting at Sistine Chapel in the Vatican. What's his name? The person who painted the ceilings of Sistine Chapel in the Vatican.
Michael Allen.
Michael Allen?
Michelangelo.
Michael Allen. Michelangelo. That's correct. Okay, Michelangelo is not a Ninja Turtle, okay? Michelangelo is a famous artist, painter who died a long time ago now. He painted the Sistine Chapel. I know maybe most of you, Amy and I had the privilege of going to Vatican and we saw this. It is magnificent what he did. He painted all these biblical paintings. And if you can't just Google it when you go home today, just look at his paintings. And it's at the dome, it's on top of the ceiling. Which means he had to paint this lying on some kind of a platform and then paint it this way. It took him a long time. It took him hours, years to finish this. Now, so why do I tell you this? I tell you this because, historically speaking, he was asked, why do you spend the time painting perfectly when it is so high in the ceiling? When people could see it from far down away, so even that imperfection, people are not going to know it. Why do you spend the effort and the time to make it beautiful, to make it good? No one will see it. His answer is very simple. Because what? Kind of like that, yes. His answer is very simple. I see it. When you take up your cross, it becomes personal. You want to be good. Not because other people want you to be good. Not because you do good to show other people. You're doing good because you want to be good. You're showing yourself, you're showing God. That's what God wants us to do. You need to be who you are when God sets you at a certain stage in your life. You live in your parents' home. What if your parents, let me ask you, what if your parents act like you? Would that be great? What if your parents say, oh, I want to be like you? What if I tell your parents that your kid's going to be like you? Right? That's crazy thinking, right? You're nuts. That's exactly right. So you need to start with yourself. Pastor Greg Laurie, one of his messages, he says this, and it's in my mind all the time. What if everybody prays like you in church? What if everybody make their devotion like? What if the pastor read the Bible and do the devotion just like you? Will you go to that church? So I ask you again, what if you are living your life just like you, or your parents live their life just like you? How is your family going to be like? It starts with you. You need to pick up the cross. Not for anyone else, for yourself. For yourself. Lastly, let's read this. To take your cross signifies to give your entire life to Christ, to leave it all to follow Him. All. All means all. All doesn't mean 90%. Doesn't mean 95%. All means all. 100%. Doesn't matter if it's in Hebrew, in Aramaic, in Italian, in whatever language you want to think of, in Mandarin, Chinese, in Spanish, Espanol, whatever that would be all. What's all in Espanol? Who's studying? Probably all, right?
No, it's not.
It's not? Okay. I'll ask my patient tomorrow.
No, so
The cost in your life equals to the surrender of your desire and personal will. That's your cross. Okay, that's your cross. Lastly, follow Jesus. It's very difficult, guys. It's very difficult to follow Jesus. The world hates Jesus. Look at all the social, some of the social issues of today go against biblical teaching. I'm not going to name them. You know them. You have an issue with God, bring it to God. But following Jesus is giving it all. God's moral doesn't change. So my challenge for you is, if you're going to follow Jesus, you need to look deep into yourself with issues that deals with God's teaching, and really pray about it, and really think about it. Don't let your emotion take over. Let God tell you what's right and wrong. God's moral doesn't change. Morality with people, you and I, change all the time. God's morality doesn't change. So don't compromise. But before you even compromise, you need to understand what they are. So if you don't understand it, then study it. There's a reason God gives certain instructions and guidance and rules. He doesn't just give it because He wants to create an argument with you. He gives it for a reason. You need to find that out. Don't wait for me to teach you. Wait for me to tell you. Because then you'll probably end up with just an argument. You need the Holy Spirit to guide you and teach you. But you need to be willing to come humbly before Him. That means you need to deny yourself. That means you need to pick up your cross. That means you need to truly follow Jesus. Paul was a man of integrity, and that is why he was able to instruct the Christians to put into practice the things that he did. Do you and I, do we have integrity so we can become an example for others? Are you a good example at home? If I were to talk to your parents, you think your parents would be happy and be proud of you? And for the parents, if I were to talk to your kids, Will your kids be saying my parents are loving and respectful also to me? What kind of example are you setting for people around you? Simple as that. What kind of example? God's truth still prevails, and no matter how many people reject it, the truth is still the truth. And we must hold to it because we do not have the authority to change it. You know, our friends who are not Christians, and I would talk to them about our faith. And a common argument would be, your truth is your truth. I will hold to it. That is true, right? But then I say yes. But there is only one truth. Truth cannot change. So if my truth is wrong, then I live by it. But if my truth is right, then you live by it. Truth cannot change just because one rejects it. And if you believe the Bible is true, I don't care how many people reject it. It's the truth. And so if you're a Christian and you believe in the Bible, why would you care about what other people say that your Bible is not right? Then you're not a Christian, are you a follower? My question for you this morning was, what? Are you a follower, right? So I asked you, who are you following? Are you following God? Or are you following what Brad Pitt thinks? Right? I'm just using that as an example. Know who you're following. It's a matter of life and death. In all of this, Paul was able to stand strong because of his commitment to do what is right in the eyes of God and not in the eyes of man. We're ending soon. We care so much about what other people think, it's going to destroy our lives. You should care about what God thinks. That saves your life. In anything that you do, think about what God would think about it. Not what other people would think about it. Other people may give you an idea, but if those things that other people say go against God's teaching, then you need to really consider which one you're going to follow. It's a matter of life and death. Are you a follower as we end? Are you a follower? Of course. Like I said in the beginning, we're all followers. You're all following something, somebody. All of us. Just make sure, if you're a Christian, just make sure you're following Christ our Lord. The distraction in your life, let God help you. The questions in your life, let God help you. Hold on to integrity. And God will make it okay. Don't compromise. Live strong for God. Be an example. Make that commitment. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your teaching. It's very difficult, these things we are supposed to do in our lives. Life is hard. So many things come at us like a freight train, like a runaway train. It's hitting us hard. Oftentimes we feel it's difficult to withstand these pressure of life. But that's when we know we need to come back to you. Because only you can help us overcome these difficulties of life. But we ask for your help. Because life is hard. Things are difficult. Things at home is hard. In our school, in our workplaces. Life is hard, Lord. But we're willing to try. We're willing to come back to you. We're willing to deny ourselves so that you are the head of my family, the head of my life. I will be able to pick up my cross. I will be able to overcome the challenges that comes at me. And give me strength and wisdom to follow you without compromise. Father, we thank you. Take away our self-centeredness, our selfishness, everything about self. Help us take them away. We offer ourselves to you completely, 100%. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jesus, for dying on the cross for us. For the salvation you give us, so that we are made new.